In the room right now. Miriam Delicato, are you in the audience? She there? Okay, if she is, could she please come on stage? Thank you. This is Dave Corso. Bill, are you with us? Thank you. Okay.
I needed a break for a minute.
we're just giving Duncan a little breather here, and I'd like Dave Corso to say a few words to you. Duncan does have more than one alternate, and he is investigating this very deeply. You have to understand that when somebody does that, breaking down those walls makes them very vulnerable, and if you've seen the recent Terminator movie, it's no lie. Okay, so you just follow that character's trajectory in trying to find out what was done to him and watch his emotions, and you'll have some clue as to what's going on here, okay? So if you haven't seen the movie, I encourage you to do so, because it's really to the point. Dave Corso.
Thank you.
I'm better.
The experience of your life to be where you are.
Thank you.
Let me explain to you how I met Duncan in this iteration of life. We had a mutual friend named John Morrow. John Morrow was the 13th member of the team. When the helicopter landed in, PTSD, and there's an energy in here that's working now on me to bring it on.
I suspect
and again, from all 40 kilometers in
that's
the
what
back
it
of the
was.
100,000 times with love. Because that was Cambodia, my team was sent to rescue another Special Forces fighting team.
Move over here so we're all.
We had problems.
Sit down.
I called for backup. Well, about 10 minutes later, the CH-47 Chinook lands and these 12 kids get out. What the hell is this? Bullets flying everywhere. There's this little kid with a big afro. A white kid. That one right there. I said, what the hell is this? Before I could ask the question, these kids form a circle, join hands, and there's a thunderclap and a flash of light like I've never seen. I look at the helicopter as my vision comes back, and there's a guy. I said, I don't know who the hell that guy is. I don't know what his uniform is. He was an officer in the Army, I think. Make a long story short, they flew away. We got the other team who were sent to rescue, and I said, Master Sergeant, what do you know? What do you recall? He said, blinding flash, bullet stopped. And there were hundreds of Viet Cong bodies as we wended our way back out, and we got to our chopper and got out of there. About 2 weeks later in Saigon, I run across this officer again. And he had this horrified look on his face. He had an insignia on his shoulder that I have never seen before. Okay, that was 1967. Let's fast forward to 1992. I'm in Pahrump, Nevada with my computer shop, and this guy walks through the door. And my first instinct was to kill him. And I said, why do I feel that way? Well, as he introduced himself, his name was John Morrow. As he and I talked, I could sense there was something unusual about this gentleman. Well, John and I got to be good friends, and one day, after I had closed my shop, John was over because I was doing some work on his computer. I said, let me tell you, John, what I first experienced with you. I said, when you first came in my shop, I said, my first instinct was to kill you, and John Morrow's face got ashen white. I said, I know you from Vietnam. I said, when you introduced Duncan and I in this iteration, you were surprised that we knew each other, and you were even more surprised that Sean and I knew each other. I said, you didn't expect that. He said, no. He gave me some more background on Dunk because he was one of Dunk's trainers. John Morrow was a very unassuming gentleman. When you look at him, you think, what a big teddy bear. John loved cats. John loved my dogs. John was my friend, but he was a robot. There's a robot or two in here today. I no longer sense there being a danger. But when I met Dunk, and I'm not telling the story about the yellow snake either. That's a story for another time. You won't believe it. I didn't. My son, I have a son that's named David Thomas. He has an unusual knack of, he'll ask me what I think are stupid questions till I think about it. My nightmare started in 1983, when my son and I are sitting in a little two-man rubber life raft fishing in Strawberry Lake in California. He looked at me and said, "Daddy, I got a question for you." I said, "What's that?" He says, "What did you do in Vietnam? What did you really do? Because at times, man, you just act really weird." I said, "He's 9 years old. What's he asking me if I did in Vietnam for?" I said, "I think I did this." That night, the nightmare started. Duncan and I have been through iterations of life together, as have Allison and I and Laura and I. I'm here to meet people to tell you this. Whatever Duncan says, you can take it to the bank. Dunk has other information that I don't know if he's going to share today or not that I'm privy to. He talked about teams of 3. Well, the third member is here today. I'm the anchor, Dunk's the soldier, and we have the outlook. This iteration of outlook. There are more than one. I am so grateful that I live in this country. I had an opportunity to go to work for the Russians after my term was over in the U.S. military. I looked at this guy and I says, "What are you going to give me? Make me a major for 6 months to get my information and kill me?" As I turned to walk away, he was gone. That quick. Happened on a street in Oakland, California. You all have good hearts and souls, but I've seen one thing, because my talent is taking a mosaic and making a picture. A lot of you have a lot of the pieces. We need to sit down as a group and not design a camel, which is a horse designed by committee, but sit as a group, bring out one truth. The truth stands by itself. And what is the truth? Well, it's something that's politically acceptable today that may not be politically acceptable tomorrow. Or the truth is this: relaying an event or situation exactly as it is without taking to or adding from that event to make someone right or somebody wrong. Believe me, I know that's true. People say I'm crazy. Oh, I'm not crazy. It just happens you're not in my normal realm. I have wolves. I raise wolves. And I have a wolf that lives in my house. He's a purebred wolf.
What is mine?
You can dream on all you want. I have a wolf named Herc. And Duncan and I made a 300-mile trip.
4.
It was about a 400-mile trip one way. I took Herc with me.